So, a quick heads up about this week's episode of the AVB Podcast. We had some technical difficulties with the camera, and we've got some really weird, kind of annoying, I found it really frustrating to watch shots during this episode. But it also happened to be one of the most powerful conversations I've ever been a part of. And after watching it and reviewing it and showing it to a couple of people, we just felt it was too good to not let go. So if you find the videography of this episode as frustrating as I do, go ahead and just listen to the audio and click off and go do something else as you're listening, because this conversation with Jody Raffoul, like I said, is, it's incredible. Be sure to make sure you say hi to our sponsors. You got links down below for them, for Jody, for us, and everything else. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell if you want notifications. Let's get on to this very powerful interview with Mr. Jody Raffoul. So this time on the AVB Podcast, I have the pleasure of being in the home of our guest, Mr. Jody Raffoul. Thanks for joining us, man.
You're the band.
Dude, this is the third time you've been on the show. You were one of our first guests when you and I sat in the freezing cold at the Rondo coming up to Christmas. Just audio
no
only.
holds barred.
yeah, that was a good one, man. And you know, sat in the cold. The audio episode of that is still available. We'll put links and stuff for that.
Cool.
And then you and Dusty came on board and did a cover of the Alice Cooper tune. And man, just always such a pleasure to hang out with you. Thanks for joining us, man.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for coming all the way out.
Oh man,
to sunny Leamington.
Sunny Leamington. I love Leamington. I've been spending more time out here lately than I ever had in my life, and I grew up in the county. So
multicultural haven, for real.
It's fun. I love this town. It's interesting too, because why not even get started on this? Since we've had you on the podcast before, we've talked about some other stuff before. One of the things that is really interesting to me, and I was thinking about it as I was driving around town today. You have this connection with this community, like you, without being facetious. This town loves you.
Oh, I feel. Well, thank you. I love this town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, like it's like, I can never run away from this town. You know, this is where I come from. This is where I am. And like I was saying earlier on, before we were on camera, it's a multicultural haven, man. This town is, and that's what I love. It forces you to respect other cultures.
Yeah.
Because, if I'm Portuguese and you're German, if we're going to coexist, I have to learn to respect the fact that you're German. You have to respect the fact that I'm Portuguese or whatever the heck,
It's interesting.
I'm Lebanese, but you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying? Like, there are so many cultures in this town, and I believe, and I know with all my friends too, we all respect each other's cultures, for the reason being that we're going to coexist.
Well, it's funny too, because I know it with you specifically, and actually I had this conversation with one of your cousins.
Oh, no.
And this is the topic of the conversation, is the fact that, well, I believe your family's pretty large to begin with.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they're like, every person on the planet is jumping out of their butt to claim like ownership. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm connected to him too. And it was funny because I remember it was so funny. That
was pretty funny.
Yeah, but it's true. They really do. Like, every time you talk to somebody, I've mentioned your name in conversation, and I'm related. He's my cousin. Like, I've heard this multiple times in multiple circumstances, and then you go, oh, that's cool, whatever. And then you get to talk, it's like, okay, yeah, they're your cousin that you see once every 5 years or whatever. Like, your family is gigantic, right?
I have 61 first cousins.
Holy crow.
Yeah.
So explain the background of your family here in the city. Like, I know we were talking earlier.
Yeah, my mother and father came from Lebanon in 1958. They were 10 and 11. My father was 10, mother was 11. They came from the same village. Okay. Most of the people in this town that are Lebanese do come from that particular little village.
Okay.
It's a little hillbilly village. It's like there's less people. It's like Ruthven.
Okay.
There's less people in Wheatley.
And they all just moved out and came to Canada?
Came here. There was a sponsor here. Joe Jacobs was the man's name. He was the first Lebanese dude really to settle in from that village, to settle in this area. Okay. And he started sponsoring all the people from that village to come over here.
Okay. What year is it? This is in the 50s?
Well, he was here way before that.
Oh,
but
okay.
yes, In the 50s, he started sponsoring people to come over here.
Okay.
My parents came here in 58.
Right.
And they were, they were laborers.
They came over as kids. They knew each other from town.
From the village.
Okay.
They came from.
Right.
The village.
And they came over separately with their own families.
And then 10 years later, they married. Yeah. But that's the story with most. And there might be 100 times more people from that village in this town than there ever were in that village.
Really?
Yeah.
It just sort of grew from that.
People people from the same village,
Right.
Because
it all stays
that's all
together.
they do. They stayed together,
And still, even in the 50s, like the idea of even going to Windsor it's a big
day trip.
Yeah, it's a full trip, right?
No, I can remember taking the back way to Windsor before the bypass.
Right.
That's old.
So I know we talked about this before, but it's more intriguing to me since we're talking about your family. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have a small family.
Okay.
I have one brother who's younger and one sister who's younger.
Okay, but because everybody comes from this like village back home, you have this like extended family.
Well,
right?
my mother's one of 9. My dad's one of 6.
Oh, okay.
And they all had a shit ton of kids.
Right.
That's where the first cousins come from.
Right.
My mother's oldest sister actually gave birth to 13 kids.
Wow.
My grandmother was I believe one of 10. She gave birth to 9.
Right.
But I mean that was before she was one of 10. But I mean, there are a lot of my mother's sisters all had a shitload of kids.
Oh yeah. That's funny.
And we all grew up in the same neighborhoods, man.
Yeah.
I can remember playing hockey on this street right here.
So you did know all your cousins growing up? Like you guys were close growing up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. Like our first cousins are like brothers.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
And there's 60 something of you?
61. I can tell you that I can tell you the underwear size of every kid in this family.
That's incredible.
You know what I mean? Like
it's funny because like I don't know, like you and I have only started.
That's kind of gross. I was trying to be funny. I
think people get it. It's funny because like you and I have only started to get to know each other personally lately. So I don't know your family story all of that well. But one of the things that really stands out to me is like through the podcast. We've had you on a couple times. We were talking about this before we started taping. I've had you on a couple of times. Your son Peter's been on the podcast. Obviously, your son Billy's got great success, but I don't have any numbers there for this. But every time somebody in the Raffoul family is on my show, like the numbers don't lie. They just are heads and tails about anything else. You have support. Like your family. Comes out.
Yeah.
Your family comes out to support you.
Yeah.
Is that something you've had your entire musical career? Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Right from the beginning.
I'm grateful to my family for them being behind and absolutely. I mean, I have family members that have been to, I bet you, a couple thousand of my shows.
Right.
I mean, that's, I've done well over 6,000 shows in my life, in 33, 34 years. My family has been supporting my ass for many years. Coming to the show and taking pride in the game,
And talking about you when you kind of spreading your name and that sort of thing. It's incredible because I have seen that side of it. Like you said, yeah. And it's funny. It's funny because I almost took it initially, and I even said it as we were talking about it. I almost took it as like one of those things where people were just kind of like coattail stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's not that way, is it?
No, it's
almost the opposite.
It really isn't. It is the opposite. But you would think that it was the coattail kind of shit, but it really is not. I mean, I'm very grateful because I know that most of, if not all of my family is genuine in their love when it comes to supporting my career.
Right.
It's been a fucking great ride, man.
Yeah.
And it's still going.
Oh yeah.
It feels great, but I know that I got my family. They're rabid, man.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like the Green Bay Packers or something. You know what I mean?
It's got to be heartwarming because no matter what you do, you're always gonna have somebody there to support you.
Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Does it make it easier to be an artist?
Well, here's the thing with me as an artist or as a, like I recently, I got this new manager, this young, on fire fucking kid. He's just wild. You know, I've always, you know, in conversing with him, I said something that has been sticking with me for a long time, and that is that, you know, I've never been able to separate my music from my life, or vice versa.
Okay.
My life from my music. So it's always out, it's always there, it's on display, it's real, it's most definitely therapeutic, and it is what it is. There it is. You have it. There it is.
Yeah.
That's my life. You know, my music is my life, and my life is my music. Sometimes those closest to you suffer.
Yeah.
You know, my wife and my young 3 kids are, you know, the youngest 3 are tough. They're 3 under the age of 10.
Yep.
You know, 2 dudes and a little girl.
Right.
And, you know, I'm trying these days to be a better father, and I'm not doing the greatest job, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
It's because the career is still going.
You still gotta do all the stupid shit that you have to do for that.
And
right?
I still have to do it.
Yeah.
And then, but now, swear to God, this is my week. Monday, Judah has hockey. Tuesday, Caden has hockey.
Right.
Wednesday, Balokia has dance.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, that's today. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on, I can promise you. None of them have hockey today.
Right.
Friday, Caden has hockey again. Saturday, they all play hockey.
Right.
So they have practices, then they play.
Right.
That's our lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, that.
And
then
then
I have
you
to
gotta
go,
fit
then
in
I
your
have to
career.
gig 4 to 5 nights a week, 3, 4, 5 nights a week, depending on the season. And then the Saints thing that we're doing, you know,
right,
is happening right now.
Oh yeah, because you got to be in the middle of all of that. Because every year and I mean, not that we have to explain to anybody, but if anybody's watching who doesn't know, every year you get together with some really incredible musicians and put together a charity Christmas concert.
It's our 8th
right?
record.
That's unreal. That's with Marty and Jeff and them, right?
Jeff Burrows,
yeah.
Marty Back, David Seren,
yeah.
Kelly Oche,
all the killers,
Wes Buckley,
all the fucking killers,
all the. Who else I'm missing? Mr. Chill.
Oh,
Kelly Hoppy. Jesus,
right.
man. I mean, you know, like, you know, and then the Twisted Sisters are playing with us now.
Oh, that's
They're singing
great.
with us, you know. I don't know if I'm missing anybody.
And this is the 8th year for that.
8th year, 8th album. I did it for 5 years prior to that.
Oh, okay.
By myself. The Jody Raffoul band.
Oh, I didn't realize
and then
that.
Burroughs come on board 8 years ago.
Oh, that's
this
great.
This is the 8th year, and me, Burroughs and I, we took it to tried a different thing. We went to the Christmas music rather than my music.
Okay.
But every year, 5 years prior to that, we released a record of some sort for charity,
right?
Hospice, or you know, or the food banks, whatever.
Where did that come from with you?
St. Clair College and I.
Okay.
We did it. Ron Segan, a good friend of mine that works at St. Clair College, and a couple of his colleagues got together with us, and we put this thing together, and then afterwards it started to grow, and that's where you bring in one cool cat, man, Jeff Burrows. You know, I never knew Jeff Burrows very well.
Mm-hmm. I don't know him at all.
I always thought, you know, he's really on top of his shit, and to be quite frank with you, I certainly did not appreciate him, not knowing what his music was all about. Just his aura. I thought, you know, and then when I got to know that guy, man, that guy works his fucking tail off.
Yeah.
He's as smart as fuck. He's a phenomenal musician. He's a family man. He takes care of his fucking shit. He's badass.
Yeah.
I got 1 million fucking respect for Jeff Burrows.
That's great to hear, actually,
He's
because
badass.
It's because, you know, and you're not the first person that I've heard that, but you're also not the first person that I've heard say the other thing about Jeff too. And I mean, I don't mind to get this into a session or whatever, but like, and I think Jeff is aware of that too. Like, he's got part of it just comes with the fact that he has success, and you've experienced this too. As soon as you have success, people have like put their own sort of views on.
Not that fucker. He's fucking.
Yeah?
He keeps it to the grind, man. He's always working it.
Yeah.
He's proud, and I'm fucking proud to be his friend. And I'm proud to be his bandmate. I really am, and
That's
I'm not
great.
just saying that.
No, that's great.
And I don't care if anyone sees this.
Well, I
got
mean,
loads of respect for
I don't think anybody ever takes you as anything more than genuine.
Thank you.
Anything other than genuine.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, but anyway, yeah. We got the Christmas thing that goes on every year,
right?
And now
the new album.
Record, the new record.
Let's talk about it, because one of the things that you said in the kitchen before we came out to do this is 10 years. Talk to me about that. It's been 10 years since the last album. This is the first one.
Big Sky was the last record I did.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I was in a pretty crazy place in my life. I had
because you had some major ups and some major downs happen at the same time.
A lot going on.
Do you want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
because
I'm cool with it. Yeah. I mean, I was, at the beginning of a divorce with my first wife. The beginnings of it was the release of that record.
It was happening almost at the same,
right at the same
time, right?
Wouldn't you fucking know it?
Yeah.
It was like chaotic.
And you're dealing with a young family at the time too, right?
Well, no. Yeah. Yes. Billy. Yes. Billy was 13. Pete was 11.
Yeah.
At the time of the release of that. Now they're 24 and 22. And but the record we had a big time investor who was going to take what we had into the record and bring it up to $500,000.
Wow.
To try to give it a real shot. We had a couple of people working. We had the people who worked Dave Matthews stuff, radio people.
Mm-hmm.
We had them on board, but everything costs money, as you well know.
Yeah.
And 2008 was the recession, so there's a lot of shit going on. Personally, my life was a fucking hurricane, for real. A tornado. It was like wild. I was all over the place. We had a lot going on, and it was a
Talk to me about, because you do have like the exact dichotomy happening. You have some of the greatest like potentials, and like as a musician, you have all of the things happening at that time that one would want to happen in a career, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And at the same time, personally, you've got all the things happening that you don't want happening,
right,
in a relationship, in a family, all of that stuff, right?
Right. Quite frankly, it was unbelievable. How do you have so many cool things going on the verge of that whole Bon Jovi thing that we had going on? It was, and that record deal that was offered to us, and
right,
and we didn't take the record deal. It was the beginning of a 360 deal.
Yeah,
I told you
we talked about
this. It's still baffling.
Yeah.
And it happens. There's a reason for the shit, man, but you don't realize it at the time.
Yeah.
But here we are 10 years later, and I got 3 more kids.
Right.
I'm happily married, and and my ex-wife is doing well, thank God. And
that's really good to hear.
We went through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Our whole entire family. My 2 sons are.
I have also
doing
heard
well in the music business, and
I've heard, and I'm not interested in going down dark roads and stuff.
No.
But I definitely am aware of the situation that happened around your divorce and your separation, and I know one of the things that I heard about that I think I don't know how to express this, but it made me understand the type of person you are more than anything. Was what I heard was when the darkest moments of all of that were going through, your first reaction was to lock down and protect your family.
oh fuck.
And but that was how it was explained to me.
I mean, fuck. When I was my oldest kid's age, 24, I was in Los Angeles.
We can take a minute.
Trying to make it happen.
Okay.
And he was in his mother's tummy, and I didn't know. So when I came home, I only knew what I knew, and wasn't going back. I wasn't gonna. And I'm actually happy I didn't. You know, I wasn't gonna give up.
Right.
What I knew, what life was really about. To go chase some fucking $1 million fucking dream. I don't give a fuck about $1 million. Music is a part of my life, no matter where I am in life.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I wasn't gonna give up what I knew about love in life, which is, you know, you take care of your own.
Yeah.
What the fuck else you gonna do? Of course you do. And sorry, I'm emotional.
No.
I certainly wasn't planning on being emotional, but I mean, that's the only, to me, that's one of the fewest things I'm very proud of. I would never, you know, I don't care if Jimmy Page asked me to go on the road with him and sing. I ain't doing that if everything ain't okay right here. Isn't okay.
Whatever.
Right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is first. Even though they sometimes don't feel like they're first.
There's still
first.
that process, and maybe I'm making it too personal.
No,
right?
no,
but
fuck, no, I don't give a
but
shit.
like as you're going through these situations, as these opportunities and hurdles and life, as it gets thrown at you, every moment, maybe this is just me, but every moment you're forced to sort of look at the totality of your life in those hardest and best moments,
Yep.
right? And in the best moments, it's easy because you get to congratulate yourself on all your bullshit, right? But
it's easy to have a good time.
Exactly, right?
It's what makes you, and what makes you appreciate life is when you can survive the tough times.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's the most important thing. And I get that. I'm doing it for the most part in my life. Like I said to you before, I could probably do a better job with these young kids. They're tough.
Right.
They're tough as fuck. You know, but you know, but that's what you get as you get older.
Right.
You know, I'm coming up on 51 years old. You know, and you know, and I thank God I can still get up on stage.
Right.
We got a fun fucking band. The cover band is fun. The original band is fun. You know, it's fun. But you're not perfect. But you do realize that it's the moments. I always say to my kids, you know, Billy's doing so fucking well right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're both
and
doing great.
he's got his head on. And Peter's got the world in front of him as well. You know, I always say to them, listen to me, man. This is life. It's so easy to have a great time when things are going great.
Right.
How you handle this shit down here is going to make your life a lot better and a lot more fun. Because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're not here to have a little bit of fun, I don't know what the fuck. If you don't go crazy for once in a while, you know, if I don't go crazy, I'll go crazy if I don't go crazy today.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you don't have a good time in this life,
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck are we here for? Gotta have a good time.
Right.
But remember that part of having a good time when it's easy to have a fucking good time is surviving the shit when you're not having a good time.
Right.
Have the attitude that, you know, it's okay. Everyone goes through it. Look at Brad Pitt and all these fucking movie stars are making millions and millions of fucking dollars. And, you know, I don't know Brad Pitt.
Right.
You know, and God love him. But making all this fucking money, look at they go through the same
shit.
fucking shit we do.
It's funny because it's growing up, and we talked about this before. Like, and you know, I paid attention to human psychology and you know all the cliches and the stuff that they tell you right from go. Money doesn't buy happiness, and da 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 da. And then there's all the response that comes with it. And, yeah, right. All the cliches that are cliches for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand
Right.
that. They'll put that away.
Yeah.
They're cliches
for a reason. Yeah, because and you know, and then you hear the other ones: more money, more problems. All of this, you know, all of the same.
Can
stuff.
I ever tell you about that?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Well,
because
I mean,
you know what? Because
when
most people don't understand what that even means.
Well, in 1993, I bought my first house.
Okay.
Late December, right before New Year's. Moved into the house June 7th. Billy was born that night.
Okay.
My mortgage was $475. I bought a house for $65,000 out on the highway between Leamington and Wheatley.
Okay.
We found out we had an extra acre of land. We worked the land when we did our survey. We worked the land. We sold fruits and vegetables out front. I went and played rock and roll at night. You know, we did a little hobby farm. It was a blast. Things were great. Then I met somebody in Detroit. Said, hey man, I want you to come and sing with some legendary people over here. Things started getting a little bit better. More money.
Right.
All of a sudden, moved out of the little house, bought this actual house right here.
Okay.
And the mortgage got 4 or 5 times more. The fucking money at the gigs became more. The fucking problems became more. The fucking booze became more.
Yep.
Everything just went, you know, and it's true.
Yeah.
If you're but I'm grateful that I learned from that. Instead of didn't take my chances when I took my chances. And instead of not making the fucking mistakes that I made.
Right.
Because the mistakes have brought me here, sitting on this couch talking to you right now.
Right.
Right.
What was the journey? Well, this is a bullshit question. I already know the answer to it, and I hate people ask. Tell me, because what I was going to ask you was the journey as easy as you make it sound, and we both fucking know it's not.
It wasn't. But what makes it sound easy is understanding it.
Yeah.
But if I have to think about it, no, fuck, it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I went through a heart-wrenching divorce.
Yeah.
And breaking the heart of my children. Right in front of me, like sitting right here.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So no, it wasn't easy.
Wasn't easy.
But looking back, talking about it, understanding it, realizing that, you know, you go through shit. It's a little easier than you think, because life really does go on.
Right.
But at the time, no, it wasn't easy. It's hard to forget the look on Peter's face. You know, when I told him that you know. Yeah. We're his mother and I were divorcing. Tough shit.
Yeah.
It's tough. A lot of people go through it.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder, because we've sort of, the first conversation you and I had, we kind of talked about this a little bit, and we've obviously gotten more in depth with it now. But I wonder, like, one of the things that one of these questions has come back on a podcast a couple of times is like, do you feel like you're a different person now than you were before that moment, or that, maybe not that moment, but that year that...
Yes, because of personal reasons, but you know, that probably won't get into.
Yeah, that's fine.
But let me just put it to you this way. When the pimple came to a head... Yeah. And it burst, it was a relief. Yeah. So there was some real major shit going on in my life. Getting it off your chest and out and releasing it to the sky, you know, and releasing it to, was a huge, it was a huge relief, weight off my shoulders.
That's interesting. How long did it take you to recognize that relief?
It was immediate.
Was it instant?
Oh fuck yeah.
Even through as hard as it was?
How long did it take me to get to the point where I burst that pimple, if you will?
Yeah.
7 full fucking years of serious shit.
Yeah.
You know?
What's the timeline there? Like, I'm just trying to place put the point. When you talk about the pimple bursting, are we talking about the breakup between you or whatever?
Quite frankly, I had an affair for many years.
All right.
And I was losing my mind.
And you were hiding it and kind of running through all of that?
Hiding it for many years.
Okay.
And it was really, really, really difficult.
That's interesting.
And when it came out, that was the worst. Then it was time to rebuild.
I get it.
Everybody rebuild. Okay, here's the truth.
Okay.
You know, I was kicked out of my house.
So there was some real betrayal.
4 blocks away from here.
Yeah.
At my mother's house.
Okay.
But I was in my kid's face, and I said, here I am.
Yep.
You want to call me a fucking whatever you want to call me? Here I am.
That's got to be tough, because you really do have to put yourself out there.
It's right here. Here I am. And it's on the new record.
Is it?
So those songs were all written in the past 10 years.
Okay.
You know, so it's very therapeutic.
And that's all on the new album that's coming out. That might explain why the beauty of the couple of songs, because I've only heard 2 songs out of it so far. You just sent it to me. I can't listen, but I fell in love. We talked about this. By the time this airs, we will have already released the one video for Bird and Bee, which is such a fun song.
Thank you.
That is so much fun. And actually, I'm now starting to kind of get tie-ins. I sort of get it there. But what's the name of the other song, the one that I keep bringing up that I love so much?
I Want to Be the One.
I Want to Be the One. Man, if you guys get a chance...
It's a country music song. It's kind of country-ish.
But it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's just... I couldn't tell you one of the lyrics, and I'm a lyrics guy. Yeah. I couldn't tell you one of the lyrics, but all I know is that as you guys were practicing it, as I was setting up in that basement, and I walked out of the house, you guys were done playing, and I was singing it. I was humming it. And I was like, man, there's something about that song. Yeah. Like, it's really, really good.
We were on tour. Nissan sponsored us to go on tour, so we did I think it was 15 cities around the United States, major cities, where we would stop. There was a country music act, a rock act,
okay,
and a pop kind of act. We were the rock act,
right?
And we would stop at these. Okay, so Nissan was putting on these day fairs where you could test drive Nissans around the track, and then there was music.
That's
right
great.
So we were all around. We were up in San Francisco for a couple of days. We were at a place called the King George Hotel, which is kind of a really cool place. Yeah. And we had a gig, so we were gigging in certain spots while we were doing the tour.
Oh, that's great.
So, because they paid us enough so that we could walk into a bar and play for next to nothing, which is the
yeah.
So we played this legendary club in San Francisco called the Biscuits and Blues.
Okay.
Which is really cool. And we were having a good time. We were at the King George Hotel. We had a party afterwards. And my drummer at the time, his name was Jeff Shaky Folks.
Okay.
Shaky is his nickname. And Wes, who's still with me, was the guitar player. And we were sitting around with acoustic guitars and a bunch of people going nuts and having parties and whatever. We had a couple of rooms up and Shaky had this line, and the line was, I want to be the broken heart of every broken-hearted girl.
Okay.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
So we built the song around his line, and then years later, that's all we had was this. I like to make up words to songs that nobody else has heard,
Right.
Nobody's ever heard. I want to be the broken heart of every broken-hearted girl. All we had was the chorus.
That's
years later, Billy and I are in this house.
Yeah.
Years later, and we're just jamming, and I show him this thing, and we built a song around it. Billy helped me write a song, and then we put it on the record, and it turned. It's just crazy how it happened, but it turned into like a pretty much a favorite to a lot of people who like the country music thing.
Yeah,
it's catchy.
It's great song, man.
It's a good little ditty.
I think it suits you so well too.
Thank you.
I think it really does suit
Thank
you.
you.
It's a mature song. If you understand what I'm saying there, it's.
It kind of reminds me of like it's not modern country.
No,
it's more old school.
But it doesn't. It's not twangy. Like it's not country and western.
No,
yeah.
No, it's just it's got a country boppy kind of feel.
It's got that skip.
Simple. You can't go wrong. C, D, and G.
Right. The classic.
Classic 3 chords. Same shit. Clapping your hands.
Yeah. Oh, the best.
That's the whole thing, right?
It's funny because you talked about sitting in this room with Billy and writing, kind of putting this together. And because we've been talking so much about family, and because it's interesting to know that this has been the house, for all of this. And in the background, I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but there's like a piano sitting behind you. There's all of these guitars, all of these instruments all over the place. It's mandolin, all kinds of stuff. 51 there. The killer, the
52 amp.
52 amp. Yeah. All of these amazing things, and I sort of I imagine Billy and Peter kind of running around.
Yeah.
And I imagine you as as a father kind of doing your thing and them coming up and you showing them little things here and there.
Well, I didn't push the music thing on them, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what it was? It's funny you should say that. One time I was playing the piano behind us.
Right.
And Peter had a football in his hand on top of the piano. He jumped off the piano and broke his elbow. You know, so it was more like that.
Gotcha.
I didn't push the music thing on them.
Right.
But you know, we were always also very into sports. This family's been into sports and music.
Right.
You know, both. You know, and
it's so weird because I hear that all of the musicians that I talk to that are like really high level, like all the ones that are really kind of moving forward, sports is a major connection to them too. And for me growing up, if it was one or the other, you either got to be the geeky, nerdy, arty musician type, or you were the idiot jock kid, and never the nary the twain shall meet.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Well, you know, and what I was going to say is and that's true, by the way. It happens quite a bit like that. Billy, when I bought him his first guitar, I still have it here. I bought him a Fernandez.
Okay.
Which is kind of a cool guitar. It had a speaker built into it.
Oh, okay.
And he's left-handed, obviously, so I strung it left-handed for him.
Right.
And he learned how to play left-handed. And when he showed interest in playing, I didn't push it on him.
Right.
Then he would ask me about a chord. And actually, that's when Bird and Bee was made. Because he started getting into this guy from Detroit named Jack White. And I was like, what the fuck is this stuff, man? I mean, because I'm an old school Beatles fan, like Led Zeppelin, Beatles, and The Who, the Stones, and Pink Floyd, and anything other than that, you better fucking, you know, you better be able to prove it to me.
Right.
Because that's how terrible I am as far as being a music listener. But anyway, Billy kept showing me this Dad, you gotta hear this guy. You gotta hear this guy. I go, who the fuck is this guy? He sounds like he's whining on the fucking. Obviously, he's the incredible Jack White. But at the time, I was like, what the fuck, you know? So he's like, listen to this. Listen. It was like he's playing standard blues chops with
shit ton of distortion
with a guitar like that Roy Schmeck guitar up there on the wall.
Yeah.
You know, and at the time I certainly did not appreciate it. Well, boy, do I ever appreciate it now.
Right.
And God bless Jack White and the other guy he listens to that from the Black Creek, Auerbach.
Oh yeah.
Auerbach and all. They're fucking great, you know.
Yeah.
But at the time I wrote this riff just to show him that this is how easy it is, Billy. Bam, 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 boom, bam, boom, bam. Yeah, Dad, that's great. I go, Billy, that's 300 songs. Well, I fucking taped it.
Right.
On fucking cassette tape. Years later, I was listening to this thing and I'm thinking, after Jack White became Jack White,
right,
and the Whites and the what's Dan Auerbach's
Black Keys.
The Black Keys became the Black Keys.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Dan Auerbach. I love the Black Keys. I love John Peets, their manager.
Oh.
He's a great dude. Anyway, after that happened, I thought, listen to this fucking thing. It sounds so fresh. So I said, Billy, listen to this. Remember this? Yeah, Dad. So I wrote the song around that.
And that's Bird and Bee?
That's Bird and Bee.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's great. It's funny. I'm really glad I got that question. I got that out of you. But it's funny because where I was going with the question is...
I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry for that. That's fantastic. But what I was going to ask was because... So... From what I understand with your history, a lot of what you do, you're not, I wouldn't say self-taught, but like you did it all on your own. Like you went out and found people that sort of taught you things here and there, but you didn't spend a lot of time like studying music, right? Okay. Both of your sons, now that they're sort of like chasing behind you and like leaping forward into these new realms and stuff, you get to see them have the experience where they get to sit down with these world-class trained like musicians. And I just sort of wonder, like as a parent, because we talked about this before, right? Like it's you know, which one, and it was my favorite answer to any question is I asked you, you know, like, all right, cut the bullshit. At the end of the day, if it was them or you, which one would you prefer? You went, fuck them, I want it to be me. So I guess what I wonder is like coming up through that entire experience, what is it like for you as a musician / father / parent to sort of see that the sides of it be different, like the building it all on your own, the clawing your way up versus like having access to the little pieces.
My mother, you know what? Somebody put it perfect to me. I'm going to try to remember it. It wasn't long ago. Can I?
Yeah.
Fuck, this is so cool, dude, that you asked this question. You guys, so this friend of mine named Mo, he's a self-made, successful, very successful man. He lives in Florida. He was on an airplane, and Billy was on the airplane, and he went nuts. He saw him, and he said, take a picture, blah 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 blah. And then he saw his video. Billy's got some kind of a special on TV right now.
Okay.
Channel 500 on Direct TV. It's a great 1 hour special.
Okay.
It's the old Guitar Center sessions.
Oh, okay.
It's with I can't remember the guy's name. It's a different name guy now. It's really really cool. He saw it.
Right.
He sent me a video clip of it, and he says to me, "Man, he's heading to the moon, brother. God be with him." And he says, "I says, well, he's really making me proud. I can't lie." And he says, "Listen, man. This is Mo. God is big. He had bigger plans for you. Stay tuned. Your legacy will tell your story." So, your legacy being your children,
of course, will
tell your story.
Yeah.
And all the shit that all the shit that you've been through, all the stuff that you've put people through, which is the other side.
Yeah.
All the suffering that people closest to you.
That's the reward.
Right. So I'm okay. I will teach them not to take anything for granted. They know it already anyway. I think that their mother, all my children, all 5 of them, they're being well parented. Maybe not by me.
That's the exact same thing I said. My kids have a great parent, and it's not me.
They won't take that shit for granted.
Yeah.
But I believe that it's happening for the right reasons, and good things are happening for that reason. And I just pray that everybody runs into the tough times.
Yep. When
they run into the tough times, lean on your family, lean on your friends, lean on the people that you love, because that's what I did. That's, and in the end, I told you there was that one crazy moment in my life where it came to a head, and I know that I can I walk out. I feel just more real now than I ever have in my life. I feel fucking incredible. Because I know that my heart is in the right place. And that, if I really have to, all I have to do is take a deep breath, calm down. What is the real right thing to do here? And do it. You can face the shit. I'm
going to end with one question. And this is the question I was getting at when we talked about it all coming to a head. When you look at, because I had asked you if you feel like you're a different person now than you were before that. If you were to go back, and it's a cheesy question, but if you were able to sort of go back and meet that Jody Raffoul, what do you think that Jody Raffoul would think of who you are today?
It's not a cheesy question. That's a tough fucking question to answer, because I have to think about it, and I want to tell you the truth. But that's not a fucking cheesy question. That's a great question. I'm trying to remember what Jody Raffoul was like in that day. I mean, I can remember what he looked like. I can remember, being in a band and saying, if we fucking even try to play a U2 song, we'll fucking leave this band right now. I ain't playing no fucking U2. You fuckers can play all that fucking U2. We're not playing no. That's what I remember. They're the best. I love U2. But but that was me back then.
Yeah.
So probably, answering you the right way, I probably would have thought of me as a generic kind of adult, almost rock star.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
It's the truth.
But that guy wanted to. But that guy wanted to be something, right? That guy wanted to be something.
I was a little bit of a rebel, man.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Everything I thought about back then is what John Lennon did.
Yeah.
Everything.
And that was based. That was the basis of everyone.
So what would John Lennon think of Frank Sinatra when Lennon was 16? He'd say, "Fuck you, Frank Sinatra. I like fucking Buddy Holly. Go fuck yourself." You know. But John Lennon at 40 might understand Frank Sinatra. You know that's how. I guess if I'm being honest with you, I probably would not have. I would probably have something shitty to say about Jody Raffoul today, and that's life, right?
It is. It definitely is.
That's life.
Hopefully, we've spent this entire conversation talking about your family.
Sorry.
Your history. No. I was going to apologize to you. One thing I do want to make sure that we get before we close this. You've got an incredible new album. Is it out now? Is it officially out? When is it?
The album is not officially out. One single was released, Bird and Bee.
Bird and Bee. We've got a video for that. We'll put links up for.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Another single will be released next Friday. It's a surprise.
Okay. By the time that is it next Friday based on when this comes out?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
And then a third single will be released, and then November 30th we're doing our first show here at Leamington at the Bank Theater. November 30th, Friday. December 1st, Saturday, and just yesterday, a third show has been added. December 2nd, Sunday, and on that weekend we're releasing the record.
That's incredible.
And we're gonna have physical copies of the record at
the bank
at the Bank Theater. So it's been a long time coming.
I cannot wait. And
it's about life, and it's about the shit that we've been talking about. So honestly, you'll hear it.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it. And I really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you so much, Jody. It's always a pleasure to have you on. I can't wait to have you on a million more times.
You're the best.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. All right, folks, that'll do it for this episode of the AVB Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to go down and click on the subscribe button to make sure that you can continue seeing our episodes as we put them out. We do a lot of videos, and there's a couple of them here that we hope you'll enjoy. There's one up there that we think you might like. And of course, there's one of our playlists down there for you. Make sure you say hello to some of our sponsors in the links down below while you're there. And of course, you can find links there to today's guest and all of our other social media. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.